Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
What do you get when you mix two white boys, both named Mike? A thing for Justin Timberlake and a piercing above your eye. Was he high? Their stories alone could make you cry. That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.
I know this is about to confirm everything everyone in the Gas Digital universe already thinks about me, but I like Harry Styles.
You do? Again,
man, you really can't recreate the magic of just owning something embarrassing for the first time.
But I will say,
confident it the second.
It is the least shocking thing about. I mean, you love Justin Timberlake, you love boy bands, you love like Christina Aguilera. Like, there's if
no,
you were.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
As a singer artist, no, I like her in chaps and her fucking little, rump shake to a video that I used to gloss my keyboard to.
You're one of the rare people that are Team Christina over Team Britney. So it's fair to say you are a Christina fan.
I'm saying right now, I would much rather go down on Christina Aguilera than I would on Britney Spears.
I'd still go Britney.
Really? Britney Britney has like, I've been hooked a bunch of times, fish lips, but always been like led away. Like have you ever seen her beef shots? Because they are a tough hang. Like they are real, like big league chew after like the 8th inning of a little league game, mashed and just, all kind of phalangeed out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the least of my worries.
Let me know if this is something. So, yeah, I mean, no, she looks great in that picture. She looks really good. But let's go with some of the more recent shark-eyed, like, there's nobody home,
they say crazy
and my
people...
father is taking advantage of my finances face.
Well, don't they say crazy people have the best sex? So,
oh, yeah.
maybe...
But, I mean, Christina Aguilera is also full-bore crazy. However, she might not vomit pea soup on you at the time of climax.
Then is she crazy at all? Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Irish Goodbye Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Feeney, being joined with me, as always,
Mike, unapologetically a Christina Aguilera stan Cannon.
Yeah, exactly. We are recording remotely this week. There's been a whole what a whole to do this whole thing has been. We originally had a guest planned for today.
He'll come on. Kevin Clancy of Barstool Sports fame. We've been all over his shit. We've been on his podcast. We've been on Answer the Internet. We did Friday Night Pints. He was going to return the favor. Actually, it's a big credit for him, to be perfectly honest. And he was going to come on our show and spin some yarn, but there was a dump of a snowfall and some other goddamn problems.
Yeah, so we decided we were going to do it. I still went in to do Real S Podcast today, which we also got to talk about. There's so much to unpack. This actually might be a fun. We might have some more things than after all, because let's go chronology. All right. So what
a hilarious way to plug the episode. We're just getting started. You're like, this might be okay.
Yeah.
You're psyching yourself up.
Well, I'm coming off just redlining for the last 2 hours, so this is actually I'm slowly calming down. But so this morning I go in for Real Ass Podcast. I was gonna cancel until Shannon begged me not to cancel with the please, because someone had already canceled and no one wanted to come in because of the snow, because obviously, and everyone's driving and no one can find parking and there's no spots and alternate side parking suspended and there's not even metered spots. It's all a complete fucking nightmare in there. So I go.
Not to mention the snowplow completely shuts and caulks every car in place. So until shit melts or each person individually moves their cars, nobody's parking anywhere. There's literally there's no spots. It looks like the wall of an ice rink.
Mm-hmm. So I tell Shannon that if I can't find parking and Lewis will agree to pay for a garage if I can't find it, then I'll do it. And she's like, absolutely, yes. What I didn't realize is she didn't even talk to Lewis about it. And she actually reached out to Lewis twice about it. He ignored it both times on purpose. And then, we talked about it on a Real Ass Podcast, and ended up being Shannon gave me the money for the garage because Lewis wouldn't. And then Zach felt bad about Shannon giving me the money. So he's giving the money to Shannon for the garage. And then Zach is going to, try to get it back from Lewis, but I think he's just going to eat the fucking cost. And it's like, and Lewis brought it up on the podcast to be like, Feeney, why are you so cheap that you fucking $17? You can't fucking $17 is going to break the bank. And I'm like, the same question to you. You can't provide your guests $17 to fucking drive into the city through a fucking snowstorm and be a guest and provide comedy and stuff to your show. I hope that a snowplow hits a street sign and it smashes the new windshield of Lewis's Audi. Like I want something, the balls to just, say, what are you, so cheap? And he's driving around in a 2020 fucking Audi or whatever. Yeah,
it's like
2021.
Yeah, I'm in a 2003 hatchback Civic, buddy. I'm sliding all over the goddamn road. Let me in.
And you know what else he did? He was like, it's so easy to find parking. How did he find parking? He drove up front and called Dylan, and Dylan ran out like the little valet that he is and went and found a spot for him while the show progressed. But of course, Dylan was able to somehow find a spot on a snow mound, probably in front of a fire hydrant. It was easy to find a spot in the city, which I was like...
And not to mention, if he wants to call us cheap, tell him to get fucking Robbie Pet Cemetery hair to give us some more ads instead of the sporadic 1 or 2 we get per week. We're struggling.
Yeah. Well, and then my heart gets slightly betrayed when I get told after the podcast that one of the newest producers and one of the helps of our show,
members of the team, somebody we welcomed with open arms, and we were excited to give positive affirmation to,
who is also in the room with us, in the Zoom room with us right now. A 1G Mike apparently commented in the Gas Digital chat that Feeney should just use his fucking Patreon money in order to pay for the garage. They're slamming me without me knowing, inside the chat, behind my back, in front of my face, all that, whatever you want to say. And G, do you want to defend yourself at all here, or what?
I mean, G Mike, I don't know if I even want to hear it. You're siding with Hitler here. I mean, this is an unbelievable coup attempt.
He's not even just siding with Hitler. He's siding with Hitler's fans. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not even
the
like
lazy
the guy.
Nazis.
Yes.
The Nazis that won't even roll up their sleeves and get their fucking hands dirty.
Yeah, the Nazis who were just like a Cheeto dust on their fingers, being like, yeah, Jews, they're the worst, whatever.
I don't think that's Cheeto dust.
Yeah. Oh. G Mike.
You know what? This is another strike. I don't think he's listening.
I am listening.
So go ahead. You threw me under the bus.
I would never. He earlier in the episode was like, I think he has a Patreon or some shit when he was like throwing out your plugs. Mm-hmm. So it was like a riff on that, like being silly about like Lewis being upset that you had a Patreon.
Okay.
Listen, I would never just bring
I'm going to give him the
benefit.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt only because of what happened later today.
You know what, Mike? I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Absolutely vehemently disagree that you were riffing and rapping with Lewis from the fucking chat room. I think you saw an opening where you're like, I could maybe step up a level, and sure, Feeney's head looks like a nice boost. So you stepped up on his head, drowned him in a swamp, and said, Louis, he makes $8 per month on Patreons. Tell him to use that plus a few shekels to park.
I support artists. I love that you guys have a Patreon. I think it's great.
You said that through gritted teeth.
Well, the only reason that I'll give him the benefit of the doubt is because at 4:45 today, and where we had to record this at 6 o'clock. I should also mention
from the warning track.
Yeah.
Alex Frozen Rope throws one to third base and says, Feeney told Lewis that I wasn't willing, in all caps, to come in for IGP today.
Now,
wow.
Alex, did you hear how quickly I corrected it once Lewis got serious about it? Because I thought it was just going to be a throwaway thing that I was like, oh yeah. I was like, our producer doesn't even want to come in. People aren't coming in. And then Lewis is like, who doesn't want to come in? Who's not coming in? And I was like, well, our guest canceled and Mike doesn't want to come in. And then he played the notorious drop and we moved on from there. But I covered it, Alex. I saw my mistake. I backpedaled very quickly.
But this is why Lewis is a bit of a mad genius, is because Feeney, that's not not even your mistake. You are in the riffing and raffing chair. You're not behind some fucking glowing screen throwing out blind insults. You're in the chair. It's all supposed to be comedy. But Lewis understood that he was incorrect in the moment and decided to leverage anybody else that wasn't doing their job to pull focus from how he's a shithead.
It was a nightmare. So otherwise I do that, and it otherwise is a fun time and stuff. And I drive home 4:40 today or whatever. I realized after 8 years of humble and honorable service, my fucking computer charger decided it's not going to work, which gives me an hour to figure out the problem, which is kind of difficult to hunt down a 6-year-old compatible charger with your laptop. So my initial thing is I'm going to go to Best Buy, but Erica's not home because she's taking the car out. So she was out. So I was like, I got to wait till she comes back. Then I got to go. I start talking to you guys in the chat. G Mike finds out, lives in Astoria, has another charger from. He has 2 chargers, so I go, great, this is perfect. I hop in the car. He's very close to me, but it still takes me 20 minutes to get there because it's the height of rush hour. And so I go to the height of rush hour. G-Mike comes out, full pajamas, but he's got a pajama. It's almost like a onesie, but it's a twosie.
I wanna guess his pajamas.
Okay. Yep.
So baggy, I assume, right?
He
definitely
the most baggy. Of course.
Come on, Mike. Come on. You got a girlfriend. You got to wear something that's relatively tapered and tight fitting, or show off your goddamn body. She doesn't want to see you swimming in some bullshit. Graphic pants. I'm assuming not flannel.
Both. There were, I think, you can correct this, G-Mike, but I think they were of the flannel persuasion. They were definitely a checkered, boxy type of like black and white checkered sort of situation.
Wait, did they have a Joe Boxer waistband?
I don't know. Mike, what say you?
Plaid and gray. Yeah,
plaid and gray,
matching top and bottom. Classic.
So he comes out, very nice to offer his girlfriend's laptop charger to me. Both of them, of course, because the gods hate me, incompatible. So now I go, well, that's fucked. Now I got to drive to Best Buy all the way down in Queens. So I start driving there. Alex says she's got a 2015 MacBook Pro charger, which is like, what are the fucking odds we have the same laptop of the same year? So I drive 30 minutes in bumper-to-bumper fucking traffic and go to Alex's house, which, by the way, Alex's block is... It looks like it was shot in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was shot there. Every house on Alex's block are like multi-million-dollar mansion columns.
Where are their houses?
Queen. But just these gorgeous mansions. There was one that it said I was at her address, but I wasn't. It was a house or two down, and I was like, if this is Alex's house, it looked like a 007 villain compound. It was so big and bulbous, and like it had so many stories to it, and I was like, if Alex comes out of that house right now, my head's going to explode off my body. But thankfully, she lived a couple houses down. It's still a very nice house that she's in, but it is a much more modest, Queens, New York home. But my God, Alex, the people that you live in, are they just the richest of the rich?
I don't know. I think most people who live in this neighborhood have been here for a long time. Like, we inherited this house from my grandmother, so I'm assuming it's like older money.
This is how nice the area Alex lives in. It's fucking. She's got no outlet money. Like you turn into her development, and it says no outlet. Like you can't even get out. If you go in there, you're not going to be able to get out to the main streets again because it's its own little like cul-de-sac community in there. This is an outlet chick.
Do you know what? I just realized what you guys have been dealing with for like years at this point, because I watched myself get mad at what you were saying about no outlet. Like I saw my face shift and I was like, that's what my face does when I don't like something, like when I'm jealous or upset or no out. Like, how do I even have an opinion on no outlet streets? But it certainly formed on my face as you were talking about it. I only assumed people who know what pissed me off about it.
What's that?
Is cul-de-sacs are like the only way to go for a no outlet, right? You do the loop and you kind of can get your car around, but the no outlets in the city are basically square bottom thermometers. Like you can't do shit. You got to figure out how to 9-point K-turn at the end.
Yeah.
And you're just fucked. So I think I got myself into a parking predicament in my own head, and I watched my perma-scowl come back.
Well, all of this to say, Alex, you're a lifesaver because, again, the odds that you had a 2015 MacBook Pro charger just lying around. I mean, I don't even think Best Buy would have even had that. So
I've been using that computer up until like 2 weeks ago and just happened to get a new computer. It's so lucky.
Crazy.
Wow. Now wait, did because Feeney was doing a bit of negotiation before, which is when I totally tapped out of the conversation because he was asking Mike for his charger and he's like basically angling to keep the damn thing, and Mike is like, you can't keep it, but hang on to it for it. And Feeney's like, well, I kind of need to keep it. And then Alex was like,
I'm definitely not bringing it back.
And then Alex was like, I'm returning my computer, they might need it. And Feeney's like, all right, I'm gonna keep it. And I was just like, I'm gonna throw my phone in frozen lake right now. I'm so pissed off.
So then you mean onto ice? Nobody has ever asked you to return a charge. If you return a cell phone, they don't say, give us the charger back, do you? They only need the laptop. They want the hardware.
I've never returned a single one.
Yeah,
probably. Hopefully, I would love if they just laugh in Alex's face.
You have it right now on my grave. Lewis will reimburse you. How about that? Just charge it on the company card. We'll give it back to you. And you'll be good. So that's been my day today. So it's just been like a constant. And I had to have like a writing meeting in between that. So it's just been all higgledy-wiggledy.
What?
I don't know. Zach was wearing a hat that said Piggly Wiggly, and then I almost said that, and I was like, I want to say something different, and that's what came out. Higgledy-wiggledy. Thank you very much.
Oh, either one. Dude, I can barely move right now. Like I feel well because the problem is, so Nicole and I are like, figuring out where we're going to live, whether or not we're going to buy a house. No, not really, actually. We're just kind of silently just staring down each other. And I've been employing my move every once in a while, which it kind of took off a little bit when I talked about it on Jim and Sam. But every once in a while when Nicole is like walking down the hall and I'm walking down the hall, I kind of shoulder check her every once in a while, just like show her a bit of alpha and just remind her I could possibly do with my body if and when it came to that point. It'll never get to that point, but I just want to remind her of that.
Sure.
So no, we haven't been fighting, but yesterday it's been, I don't know how much it snowed in the city. How much?
18 inches.
18 inches. Yeah. So it's definitely 18 to 2 feet to 2 feet plus here. And the moment I woke up yesterday, the first day, you can't even fucking shovel, right? Because it's just still coming down. There's truly no point to it whatsoever. I couldn't even take crew outside because it was mildly treacherous. Like I'd just probably find him dead under a pile of freshly fallen snow if I took him out. So we waited the day, but then it's 8 a.m. We wake up. I know it's my shovel day. I understand I'm going out there and I'm gonna I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna eat breakfast. I'm making crew breakfast. I'm like getting the whole day situated. And I don't know if Italian guilt is a real thing, but it is up there with Jewish guilt, my friend, because Nicole's mom,
100%.
Nicole's mom is just like grabbing her boots while like kind of looking at us and being like, all right, so I'm gonna get started on the on the porch or whatever. I was like, I'm gonna get it. She's like, no, I don't mind. And she like starts like half limping.
She's like, my sciatica.
Yeah, and I'm like, come on. Like I wanted at least like 45 minutes to an hour to like kind of digest my morning and then get out of there. But I guess at the crack of fucking dawn, we're doing this goddamn thing. So it's 2+ feet of snow all over the place. We have to I had to carve like a path from the house to the cabana where our cats are living because they're indoor cats. Nicole's mother has outdoor cats, so they can't commingle. And they needed the path to be fed, and so I'm doing that, and it is like.
No, but can I interrupt real quick? Mario seems like the type of person that would 100% have a snowblower.
Mario was in a fucking bobcat on the front driveway, literally doing heavy machine work and like moving piles and mountains of snow all over the place. And I'm done with I'm doing all the intricate shit, but also that only gets the driveway. You've been here. It's like all stonework and like steps and pathways all around. And even the places that get, 0% foot traffic for some reason I was employed to do. And, I'm shoveling the whole thing and I get it. And I get this path and it's like, I'm soaking in sweat, dude. I haven't had a workout like this. I mean, years at this point, because I'm doing like resistance bands and other kind of fucking body weight,
heavy cardio.
Yeah, and I'm just pouring in sweat in my sweatshirt and all this stuff, and I do this path, and I get down the steps, and I'm shoveling every fucking step, and then I do an entire crazy path up their front steps, but I didn't clear the whole step because it's just like, we just need like an out at this point. Like we don't need to do the full steps, right? And so I did half the steps, half width wise. I mean, so I do the full steps half width wise. It carves a sizable path that anybody can get down. You could fucking throw 3 shopping carts down that thing. And I'm done. I'm like aching. I'm in brutal shape. Like I felt sore the moment I stopped. It's like my body just caught up instantly. And then right after I'm done and all this stuff, Mario starts reshoveling everything that I pulled. So the ultimate sign of manhood disrespect is he's redoing the job. I just did a great job. Like I know when I half-ass something and I don't do it well and I'm like angrily like, meh, meh. And this was not one of those situations, but he's just doing it and all this stuff. And then like, I'm pissed. I'm livid. Like literally just, I'm having the worst day ever for whatever reason, all this stuff compounding this kind of, whatever. It's just making me very frustrated. Then like 2 hours later, he comes in blackout drunk and he walks up to me and he's just like, I did 99% of the work, 99%. He's like, you just got a little bit left. For you. This is your job. I'm like breastfeeding crew, basically. I'm like Nicole's working and I'm literally singularly taking care of the kid. And he's like, you just got one job. And I'm like, okay, I got to do. He's like, now. And I'm like, not now. I'm watching my son. And he's like, wow, all basically incoherent grumbles. And he's like, you just got this one thing. It's blah, blah, blah. And I look inside. It's, another 1,500 pounds of snow that I have to manually remove from all of these steps. That is just pure aesthetic. Like it had nothing to do with functionality. Not that, it's just like what. And I just was basically weep shoveling for 3 hours while crew was like having the time of his life, eating snow, looking beautiful and completely innocent and having like just this miraculous winter day with his mother. And I'm just like, kunta shoveling, fucking throwing shit in certain areas. Angrily, like kind of cursing, not letting my son hear it because I want to shield him from my anger for as long as humanly possible. And then today I woke up as if I have no, what's the stuff in between your joints?
Cartilage?
Yeah, I don't have any. It's just my full body is bone on bone with like a little Tinder match in between each fucking nubby bone. I've been like putting out fires at every fucking creaky closer in my entire body all day.
God damn. That's fucking brutal, man. And so what, and did he say you did a good job after you did that?
No. No, I've never been once dude, it's.
So wait, so you're looking for a house now, you were saying, to begin all that?
To be perfectly honest, I am looking for a hole in the ground that I can move a couch into. I don't give a shit.
Dude, if you looked at my Zillow or Trulia or fucking Street Easy search notifications, you would think there were 7 different people on my app. I'm looking up Long Island, I'm looking up Westchester, I'm looking up Jersey, I'm looking up LA, I'm looking up fucking Austin, Los Feliz, South Carolina. I'm just fucking like, I just gotta go.
I'm very willing to move on to 10 call it a day. Like I'm about to get a Michael Keaton ranch and like 4 hounds and just live on a palatial fucking estate with, I just want
$200 grand
for 200. Yeah, exactly.
It's insane, man. Like everywhere else is so now there's like so many people that are, and I've said it before on the podcast. I have nothing against Austin, but I wasn't enamored with it like I am Chicago or Los Angeles or even fucking New Orleans. Like, there's cities you go to and you're like, oh, I fucking love the energy here. I love it. Austin, I was just kind of disappointed on it on every level, just slightly, where I was like, this is cool, but not as cool. The food's great, but not as great. You know what I mean? It's like all just subtle letdowns. But you look at the fucking houses there, dude, and they're so cheap and they're so big and there's no taxes whatsoever. I mean, it's crazy.
I just want to walk around with a gun on my hip. That's
like, also perfect for that.
I know, dude. All I want is a concealed carry license and just, act like I'm the man and hopefully never have to use it because I'll just
yeah, you just throw the gun at them.
It'll be a bulletless projectile that I just toss at any bad guy.
Ow. At any bad guy. I don't know, man. It's just such a weird time because no one knows when stand-up's coming back or even when it does come back, in what capacity. And now I think if anything like this pandemic has kind of showed us that, we might have been, not might have been, but we were too reliant on these, like, the daily fix of multiple times a day, where I do feel like, obviously I think what it does is it just takes longer. But like even during the summer when we were doing, the park shows, the rooftop shows and stuff, even when I was doing like 3 to 4 spots a week, I was okay. Like, this is an adjustment and a huge step backwards, but like I'm kind of also making the most of every opportunity to go on stage versus like when I was getting up 10 times a week, I'm like, all right, this one we could just fucking riff and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like you have the luxury of, versus the other way where you're like, I don't know what I'm getting on stage again, so I have to fucking really try and work on this joke here, It just takes everything longer.
If you don't get it right in one take, it's like, see you in a week.
Yeah, exactly.
See you in a week,
Hope
joke.
I still remember how to do it. Yeah.
I probably won't even continue doing it. It didn't work. Yeah. It didn't work perfectly the first time. Why should I put in effort?
It's crazy, man. Who the fuck knows? It's just we're in such a weird time, dude.
Well, that's the interesting thing about like potentially buying a house, right? Is like I've saved a fucking ton of money being here, and I've like accumulated, more bank account money than I've had in a very long time, not having to just bleed dry New York rent. But it's funny to think that like trying to get approved or whatever, and you give them your job, and they're just like, this doesn't exist right now. Why would we give you a mortgage? Like,
that's when you basically just have to be like, here's a down payment, and also if I die, Nicole's parents are still alive and they have here's their bank account.
I could give my my life insurance as like a collateral, right?
I don't know, but maybe.
Yeah. It sounds like something somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about would say.
Put it on my gold card and we'll pay it off in monthly installments for the next 7,000 years.
I have a Capital One card with about 24% APR. We'll put the Downey right on this pup.
Dude, it's it's all, I can't tell if it's exciting or super depressing.
It's both. I'm choosing to ride mania right now. I just felt an influx of positivity for the first time in maybe a week and a half, so I'm going to choose to be a little happy.
Same way as you, pal.
I mean, my lungs haven't collapsed in on themselves, so I feel like I'm victorious.
Well, I mean, how could you not feel victorious when you're reading all these 5-star reviews that we got? There's so many of them.
Victorious and notorious.
I think we're almost at 600 reviews, but we should be at well over 5,000 at this point. So all of you, do take a second right now, go to iTunes, leave a review. You press 5 stars, just leave a silly fun comment. It helps all the algorithm.
Or come or whatever. Like just a one word.
Doesn't matter.
Who gives a shit? We just want it up there.
Because they might not let it post.
Oh, true. So
fart works.
Came.
Yeah, I came for this podcast and on this podcast while listening to this podcast. So we appreciate you guys listening and continue to do so. Tell your friends about the show. If you want to support the show, get a Gas Digital Network subscription using the code IGP That gives you a 2-week free trial. You get all of our episodes, over 200 episodes, all of our bonus stuff, all that shit that's up there. Not to mention the other 22 shows on the network, all of their episodes, all of their bonus shit. It's fucking crazy how much money you get for that. We get a nice kickback of that. It also gives you a discount to podcast merch, which, by the way, you don't have to have a Gas Digital Network subscription to buy, but we do have these up right here. We got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got the Yes Very Progress, the Pub Tee, the Popeyes. I'm wearing one of them right now. It's the hoodie. Yeah. It's comfy as hell. Highly recommend. I don't see that on the website. Maybe
the hoodie?
The IGP hoodie, the Popeyes hoodie.
Oh,
maybe it seems
to have been removed by someone.
Get that back on.
Seems an email. So we do appreciate you guys supporting. All that does really help support the show in other ways. Like I said, just word of mouth is huge. Tell people about it. And don't forget, we're also putting stuff up on YouTube now. Our both Irish Goodbye. You can watch the episodes later and after Gas Digital comes out. If you want them early, go to Gas Digital. And you guys can also listen to our other podcast, Here's the Scenario, patreon.com/scenario pod. That's with Brendan, myself, and Mike. And we also, we have a Patreon here. It's also now available on iTunes, so you could listen to it, subscribe. And YouTube. It's only been up 2 weeks, so go ahead and do that. And then once you get addicted to it, please sign up Patreon so I can get all that sweet parking money. And
damn right, dude. If I could just carelessly park wherever the fuck I want without looking at the at what it's taken from me.
Dante just double parks and leaves his blinkers on and walks in and does an hour and a half podcast, and I'm like, because
his car says "I dare you."
Yeah,
like it's literally
it's a monster truck.
Yeah, he's like Dante is exactly what you picture when you see that car, but you think your head is playing games. Like you're like, nobody looks that intimidating and also owns this car, and then you look and it's like, if Sons of Anarchy had a black guy, it's unbelievable. It's terrifying.
A beige guy. Yeah. And so, other things you can do, guys, is obviously follow us on social media at I am Mike Feeney, at I am Mike Cannon. On YouTube, hit the subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds. We all know you got a Gmail account. If you don't, it takes 10 seconds to set one up. YouTube.com/Mike Feeney Comedy /Mike Cannon Comedy. We're putting up content all the fucking time. Mike's putting up stand-up clips. We're both putting up podcast clips. I'm putting out sketches. It's just another vehicle. It's just another thing. You can just give us a thumb. It's free to you. Just a thumbs up, a comment here or there.
I got a new weekly web series coming as well. It's going to be called Canonized, and I'm going to be nominating a new saint every single week.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so there you go.
Damn right. So also, if you're out there and you have some Photoshop ability or art background and want to make me in a stained glass some sort of religious post to be my background for that program, would be greatly appreciated.
Hell yeah. And
I'll even compensate you. You know what? I know that's completely against Gas Digital rules, but I will pay for your services.
Then go to Jeremiah Metzgar, the best.
That's right. All right. Never mind. You guys have been replaced.
Submission's closed. Yeah. You could also send us a story to irishgoodbyepodcast@gmail.com. And guess what? We're going to get to 2 of those in the back half, which is awesome. And like I said, besides that, guys, just comment, share, like, save, DM, all that bullshit. It really helps. And we thank you very much. And Alex, where can people find you?
You could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at I am Alex Scar, and check out my podcast, Broad Topics, TOPIX, with Kim Congdon, here on Gas Digital Network every Thursday at 9:30 p.m., or you could catch it for free on iTunes and YouTube every Monday.
Very nice. G Mike, you got any plugs?
Just hi, I'm G Mike across everything, and my Patreon.
You have a Patreon, you sack of shit.
What are you fucking? No, he can't. You're kidding.
No, I'm fucking with you.
Oh man, I would honestly subscribe. I'd see.
That was going to be the next 30 minutes.
I legitimately thought you were a homosexual man before earlier today.
Well, really? You thought wrong. A lot of people think that, though. Apparently, the name.
Yeah, the name Gay Mike kind of leads down
that's worse people.
And is that what the G stands for?
No, it was originally G Mike. That was just a nickname growing up. And then when I got to Gas Digital, Lewis said it had to stand for something.
So you said gay.
Yeah, he said, I didn't say gay. I said great.
Great.
I can't believe that didn't catch on.
Weird.
So
Lewis is typically positive with his nicknames.
Yeah. So, like I said, we do have some stories from the thing.
Oh,
unless
hold
you
on.
got something. Yeah.
Before we get to that, I do want to update everybody on the Long Island story from last week. Thank you, everybody, for your DMs and messages of support. It's been pretty lovely. I mean, people have been reaching out saying that last half of that episode was just a fucking epic journey we all took. So update, I got the footage, and wouldn't you believe the sound guy ruined it?
No, what do you mean?
He ruined it because underneath he forgot. So he muted in the showroom the bar fucking music, but it was still playing crystal clear through the recording device. And underneath is like AC/DC stripper music, like I'm hot for teacher as I'm bombing.
That is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I literally can't put it on YouTube because
it'll get flagged.
It'll get flagged, so it's just fucked.
Oh my god,
I was gonna create this whole masterpiece, splicing the full fucking story that I told on the podcast with progressive footage from the evening and tie it all together and make it almost like a mega story from Irish Goodbye, complete with evidence. And this cunt just and that's the Good Charlotte guy, the guy with the fucking dumb mask that told me to get back up on stage after
well, maybe you still can do it, but instead of showing the audio of it, you just show the video of it with you telling the story underneath and highlight the video at certain points. So when you're like, when I got the light and they told me to get the fuck off, you just show over that part of it, you trying to go, you're saying like, oh, good night, everybody, and running off the stage. And you probably also recorded on your phone, I would imagine.
Nope.
The sound.
No, I didn't.
Sure you did.
Let's see if I mean,
you always do.
I usually do.
Habit.
Let me see.
That would be crazy if you didn't. That would be a happenstance. The audio is not going to be as good, obviously.
Hold on.
I do so much so that I think I'm going to continue wearing a mask even after this.
Yeah. All right, I got it.
See? It's back.
It's back. New project, baby.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, now I have to actually do this whole project.
I mean, this couldn't be less worth it. Now I have to splice over shitty audio onto great looking video to then slice in over a fucking story to show people how terrible I am at comedy.
You promised. Okay, well, now that's crazy though. Of course they would do that. That's so fucking... I mean, it's perfect.
I have dates coming up also. I forgot to plug. Sorry. This weekend, if you're in Uncasville, Connecticut, or anywhere surrounding, I'm at 4 through 6. I'm at Comics, Mohegan Sun, 4 shows. Yeah. We added the early show on Saturday, so tickets are moving. Obviously, it's a limited capacity. I think all shows are pretty close to selling out, so get your tickets last minute if you want. And then I just got a new date. I'm super pumped. Going down to Tampa, baby, where there are no fucking rules. And I'm doing March 11th through the 13th. I'm doing Side Splitters. Come out to that. Don DePetta is opening for me. Very excited. I love that guy. I've hung out with him a few times. He was in Green Book, as a matter of fact, that movie. He had a tiny part, but he's a good actor, good comic. He's one of Chrissy D's boys. It was actually a Chris DiStefano weekend, and then he had to go to LA to film some, Hollywood shit. So I got to go to Tampa. Back to jumping in famous guys' graves, huh?
Yeah, first with Colin and now with Chris.
I'm in, baby. Any guy that just wants to pass on something they don't think is that important, I'll fucking immediately take it and hold it close to my heart forever.
I saw that public email they sent out too, being like, we tried everything. He just refused to work with us.
Melancholy email. It was unbelievable. It's like, guys, I mean, we fought tooth and nail to keep Chris in this weekend, but some half a retard is filling in for him. Mike Shannon, you'll like him. Just misspelled it. But then March 24th, Wednesday, I'm going to be at Philly Helium. I'm headlining there, so that's going to be another fun one. And
Philly, go out, Philly. You guys fucking showed up the last time I was there with Irish Goodbye. Philly, fucking go hang with Cannon. I guess hang, but see him and then leave.
At this point, man, I'm down. Let's kiss. I don't give a shit. Sophie's choice no more. I've made the choice. It's yes.
Let's get to these stories because we have 2 stories we were told. Alex, why don't you narrate it for us?
All right.
Oh, she's reading it?
Yeah, let's start with the short one.
Okay.
we got. Here it says, I was friends with my ex for 11 years. Sorry, I was with
before they dated?
No. I was with my ex for 11 years. We never had children, but as couples do, we would play the what if game. This time it was, what if we have kids? We decided if we had a girl, the name would be Julia, which was my idea. Eventually, we split up after 11 years, and she immediately got pregnant by someone else. She ended up naming her daughter Julia. Thoughts?
My thoughts are that you have custody of that child, and you should go. You should go claim that. You should go knock on the door and be like, "I'd like to meet my daughter."
Yeah, I'd be like, I'd like to meet my name.
Yeah. Wow. That is there's a lot of that though. Like I think Nicole told one of her friends like a dream name. I forget what the name was. It was her ex-roommate, as a matter of fact. And told her like a name that she liked, and that was like going to be her daughter's name if and when we ever had a daughter. And she got pregnant first and instantly named her daughter that.
That's I mean, just
women
just
are
wild.
Treacherous bitches.
Not to be trifled with. It is it's yeah, that
sentence could end my career.
What do you mean will?
Yes.
Will end your career. I don't know. I mean, that's such a brutal thing. I mean, I think also though a little bit shame on you for keeping tabs on her. You know, you did a little social stalking. You found out she had a kid. You saw the name of it. It riled you up. But you gotta just leave the past in the past, man. You gotta just fucking move on. I haven't been. When's the last time you've been on an ex's Instagram or like social media account?
Never. Or not never, but like in 2009.
I was just gonna say like right after I got out of college, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's not true. What I'm friendly, or I've become re-friendly with one of my with my only ex, basically her brother, who like he was younger than us when we were in high school and dated into college, and he was kind of middle school and going into high school, so we talked and stuff like that, but never whatever, we weren't buds or anything. But then I think I ran into him at one of those drunk softball games that I've talked about on the show, and we hit it off. Like, he's a super cool dude, and we talked about her. She had like a kid, and then she had a second kid, so I actually just wanted to see what the kids looked like, and I looked her up, and cute kids.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But also that's like, imagine she's like, her son's name is Michael Shane, but but other than that, it was pretty cool, and I actually took that as kind of a sign
Michael
of
Jr. Like, well, who's the senior? So all right, well, yeah, I mean that's a nice succinct story. What's the other one we got here, Alex?
Okay, the other one is
I do want to go back to this because real quick, would that throw you, Alex, from naming your kid what you originally named it? Like, would you not pick that name?
I don't know. I've shared a girl name that I really like with my ex that I am not necessarily not going to use one day. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how to feel about it.
Who cares?
Yeah, but he's an Indian guy, so his daughter's name is going to be like Clitless or something like that.
Yeah, that does make me feel better. Yeah, I don't know if it's fucked up, but I could potentially see myself in the same position. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it would throw me. If anything, I would name it like even more Julia or something. Like if there was a way to just really slam it home with a gavel, I would like Julius. Yeah, the Julius.
All right, let's you want to hear the second story?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Is this the one that you kind of read and pre-screened beforehand and you were like, I don't know?
Yeah. So the subject of this email is, I may be an accidental sex offender.
Okay. Let me start this off. This is the one that was sent today or recent, right?
This was sent November 21st.
Oh. Wait, was there?
We told you we'd get to them. We never said when.
We printed it out and never got to it.
But there was another one that was sent today, right? Or really recently?
Yeah, that was Julia.
That was the one we just read.
Oh, that was it? That's the sad one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That wasn't that sad. All right, go
It was a
ahead.
bummer.
Okay. COVID shut down my events business. So this summer I was a manny for a super rich family in the Hamptons. It was sold to me as a pretty mindless job. Basically, just make sure the kid doesn't kill himself and play catch with him for $2,000 per week. It was hard to say no.
Wait, is this Andrew Collin?
It was hard to say no,
Hope
even though
11 people enjoy that one.
Yeah, of the fucking 16, 19-year-old white girls that we have listening to the show are like, I love him.
Yeah. He's my favorite bad dancer. So keep going, Alex. Plow through.
Dude, under occupation on his taxes, bad dancer.
Confident.
slash Nikki Glazer's friend.
Anyway,
it's hard to say no, even though I'd be living there away from my girlfriend for 3 months. The family and the child I was responsible for were absolutely awful. The dad wasn't in the picture. The mom had awful OCD and didn't work. And the kid was also a little piece of shit. And every day his goal was to do exactly what you told him not to do with a shit-eating grin on his face just to piss you off. About 2 months in, I was playing baseball with the kid. I tweaked my knee and was walking around with a limp. The mom made me still work 12 to 14 hours a day through it, chasing the kid around the house with a limp. I want to emphasize how
hang on. Let's pump the brakes here real quick.
Zero pity for you on that. I got drunk playing baseball and got hurt, whatever the fuck.
That's the funniest feel bad for me thing I've ever heard in my entire life. The mother still wanted me to babysit.
Yeah.
Even though I hurted my knee and could still walk.
Playing recreational activity. Yeah.
I want to emphasize how awful these people were to justify my decision making. Oh boy. Okay. One day, the grandpa of the family came over and saw that I was limping. He suggested that I go into the hot tub in the backyard and put my knee against the heat jet, as the hot jet would help soothe the pain. That night, it got really bad. So around 10:30 p.m., I went into their hot tub just to try this remedy. Unfortunately, the heat jet was unable to reach the painful part of my knee. Whenever it did hit my knee, my body would float away from it. I was resilient and kept trying. At one point...
Is this person legitimately mentally disabled? Because I'll feel bad. I mean, if you can't figure out how to hold the side...
I can see what you mean. If the jet is too strong and you're propped up, it's going to push your whole momentum backwards. You have to keep swimming down.
Do you know what's an incredible stabilizer for that? Your other leg.
Yeah, but then you can't
put your leg down.
If the jet's high enough, and you know the bottoms of those, they're very slippery.
Yeah,
and to get your knee up, but then there's also you have to compensate for going over the seat part. So you have to kind of put your knee forward while it's like a weird squat thing. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that.
That's why you got to frog put your leg up on the seat and then knee like it's the national anthem. But he couldn't stand
on his knee. His knee was hurting from all of the recreational baseball.
Yeah, but then you put all the pressure on your off hip flexor, so your knee isn't really touching the ground fully. It's just hovering above jet as you're mostly leveraging with your arms and keeping your leg, Captain Morgan.
Well, that doesn't seem like a pleasant experience at all, Michael.
I mean, a little better than floating away like a Thanksgiving Day fucking
So he's
balloon.
Floating away.
Okay. At one point, I was floating away. The heat jet hit the tip of my dick. It was basically the same sensation as sex, which I hadn't had for 8 weeks being away from my girlfriend. I sat with the feeling for a second and considered whether or not I should complete the task. As the lights in the house were off, I was in the clear. So I did it, and it was glorious. Once I was done...
I really quickly, there's no, doing it, he doesn't mean he stuck his penis in the jet.
No, he jerked off with it pressing against it, I would imagine.
He let himself finish.
In the hot tub.
Yeah.
He let himself finish.
Yeah, I think the jet was kind of doing the work.
Okay. Wow.
Once I was done, I saw little pieces of my jizz floating around in the hot tub. Realizing that I can't really do anything to fix this problem, I got out of the hot tub and limped back to my room. The next day, we were all hanging out in the pool.
Can I pause it real quick? Because you can do something about it. I mean, you could just, if nothing else, like you're trying to get a fly out of a pool, you could fucking scoop. You got to at least try.
You could do anything at least.
Yeah.
I mean, drink it out or something. Figure out.
Grab
But have you ever
grab a pitcher and just scoop and
have you came in a pool?
probably
Yeah, I did the summer, and it was like it is
that
weird.
Pool.
Yeah,
The pool I was in?
the pool you were in while you were in it.
Fuck, dude! I'm never going in that pool again.
We shocked that pool nonstop summer, but it is one of those things where your cum looks different in what, like, you shoot it up and you're in free space and you kind of can pass along what it looks like. You don't necessarily think about it. It's just kind of a liquid. But when it's actually kind of coagulating and floating and living its own, life through a gravityless water, it's troubling. It's troubling to look at.
Yeah, that's awful. So anyway, I'm disgusted. Go ahead, Alex.
The next day, we were all hanging out at the pool area. I watched as their 7-year-old devil child climbed into the hot tub, and it hit me that he was swimming in a pool of my DNA evidence, and it was seeping into his pool shirt. I felt bad about it for a second until he loudly demanded that I get his coconut drink from the kitchen. This drink was unconventional. It's basically a coconut that's easy to open. You shove a straw through the top, drink the coconut milk, and then you could easily smash the coconut and eat the coconut meat. This kid was obsessed with these, sometimes having 2 or 3 of them a day and seemingly getting them delivered in an endless supply. Fucking rich people.
Dude, that's also the worst thing to give to a kid you're fucking babysitting, because coconut milk, as we learned in Castaway, is a natural diuretic and makes you just fucking spray shit all the live long day.
When was that in Castaway?
He's talking to Wilson and he says, and coconut milk is a natural diuretic.
Oh.
Yeah. It's literally
that was lost
line.
on me.
Yeah. No, Lost is the other show.
Love to Lost. So yeah, the coconut.
I grabbed his coconut and gave it to him. He drank the whole thing from the hot tub. Then his mom came out. The kid then had a discovery. He excitedly told his mom that if he puts more water in the coconut when he's done with the coconut milk, it'll savor the coconut flavor. As I walked back to the kitchen to get him some water, I overheard the mom's response. Hey, do not drink that. I turned around and saw him pour hot tub water out of the coconut. And then I made the mistake of...
Oh my God, dude. This is the cum version of Feeney's needle story.
Yeah.
This is fucking awful. This kid just like a humpback whale just fishing for krill, and he's just gulping this dude's batch.
So finish that, please.
I then made the mistake of joining along with the mother, going, hey man, you shouldn't drink hot tub water. It'll get you sick. I'm getting you some water from the kitchen. His mom, sick of his bullshit, retired to her room to complain to her friends on the phone.
He's like, yeah, Richard Gere had to pump his stomach because he drank too much jacuzzi water. Oh, that's not who it was. It was Rod Stewart, right? Damn it.
Yeah, right. The other one was a gerbil.
That's right. A gerbil of Richard Gere's ass. And then Rod Stewart had so much cum in his belly he had to get his stomach pumped.
Both of which I'm not sure are even real.
I refuse to believe they're anything but pure fact.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So how does this end?
So you're saying I shouldn't drink this? The kid said, as the shit-eating grin that he usually put on his face started to form when he was not going to listen. I repeated again that it'll get him sick. He got out of the hot tub, submerged the coconut into the water, and walked up to me with a coconut full of chlorine water mixed with my unborn children. Did you say not to drink this? He asked again. I was about to say no, but he pointed his finger to the sky and chugged the entire thing before my face before slamming it on the ground like a Gronk spike and telling me to pick up the pieces, clearly rubbing it in my face that he's the one with all the power here. It's a tough thing emotionally to think back on, because on one hand, I really enjoyed the secret revenge I got on his piece of shit family. On the other hand, I might be an accidental sex offender.
I mean, what a grand fucking slam of a story. If you're going to give us a story to submit, bring the heat like that one. What was that person? Did they leave their name, their first name anyway?
Jordan.
Jordan,
I gotta
great story.
I got to be completely honest here. And it shows an incredible level of restraint that Jordan didn't say anything, but I don't know if I would have been able to stop myself from being like, my cum is in that coconut.
Yeah.
Just mushing it.
Put the cum in the coconut and shake it all up. You drink my cum in your coconut. Hot water and
I now just gotta fucking drop a load in the Cosmo of the lady.
That is a truly awful thing because that kid sounds like such a brat and such a nightmare and such a thing. But I mean, I don't know. I just don't even know because you really could get sick drinking chlorinated water. And the fact that the kid chose to drink chlorinated water as a fuck you is such a funny thing to also be like, ha ha, I'm going to hurt myself. You know like,
that's kids in general, dude. I tell crew to stop doing stuff and I'm just like, hey man, like that's unsafe. Please take your hands away from the socket. And he'd be like, word, and just stick his finger directly in the middle thing. And I'm like, yeah, cool. When your heart stops, I'll be the last one laughing.
Yeah. That's the hard part too, is you have to kind of toe that line of like, do I let him put his finger in there once and it fucking shit? But then you're like, what if it actually hurts or kills him? Then I'll never be able to live it myself. But if I shield him from everything, then he's gonna grow up to just be a puss. Like what?
No, so that stuff you don't fuck with. Like actual electricity, you don't. But I will say that when I coach soccer, a lot of the time, whenever I'd have like punk fucking douchebag kids that reminded me a lot of myself when I was young, I would play soccer dodgeball and I'd line them all up on the other team and join the other team and just laces down drill fucking banana kicks that would like hurt an adult, and I'd catch these kids square in their sternum or like direct, just a slap on their thigh, and it's the only way that you could really abuse children legally.
I can't believe they let you go.
That's when you want to make your Irish goodbye.